So you didn't advocate,
right now there's
you never advocated martial law, that President Trump should use martial law to stop, the transition of power. You never advocated for that, did you?
I don't recall ever advocating for martial law. If you put that text message up, it's clear and easy to read that if that's my text messages and that's what they're reporting, I don't recall if they are, but if they are, those text messages do not say calling for martial law.
So you're saying you conveniently don't recall pitching a plan to overthrow the government, but if you did do it, it's okay, right? Because you were just passing the message along? Okay. So for anyone who needs a reminder, here is what Marjorie Taylor Greene texted. Quote, in our private chat with members, several are saying the only way to save our republic is for Trump to call for martial law. Do ignore the spelling. And we know that she's not the only one, with Congressman Scott Perry suggesting using the Director of National Intelligence to overthrow the election. Meanwhile, Republican House leadership is downplaying any critique that they've previously made of the insurrection caucus in their party, frankly, because the insurrectionists are the party. Otherwise, why on earth would Steve Scalise deign to say, quote, I'm sorry if this caused you problems, to Matt Gaetz for suggesting that he may have acted illegally after the insurrection? And why hasn't Kevin McCarthy publicly defended his own comments about Gaetz putting Republicans in jeopardy? I mean, it seems like the only time in recent memory that he's been up in arms over behavior from a member of his caucus was when Madison Cawthorn accused Republicans of holding cocaine-fueled orgies. That, apparently, is the line that cannot and must not be crossed. All of this new information is coming to light as the January 6th committee is moving quickly. Moments ago, Chairman Benny Thompson announced they would hold their first of 8 public hearings starting on June 9th. Ahead of that, they plan to re-up their request for Republicans, including Lil' Kevin McCarthy, to appear before the committee by the end of the week. With me now, Congressman Eric Swalwell of California. He was a 2021 impeachment member. I wonder what you make of Marjorie Greene's new strategy of just saying, I don't recall. Sounds like she's definitely got a lawyer, and she's been talking to them a lot, but she simply doesn't recall, and Kevin McCarthy's indifference to that lack of recollection.
Joy, they talk such a big game all the time, and then when they're caught literally on audio or text message, they shrink. I just don't get it. I mean, they project all the time, right? They call Democrats snowflakes, but these people are so afraid to defend what they said privately. You saw Scott Perry running away from another network's reporter yesterday on the House steps. I mean, if this is what you believe, I don't agree with you. I think it's wrong, maybe traitorous, but why can't you defend it? And again, they are so weak. They're so afraid. They're so cowardly. But what they want to do in private should very, very much concern all of us, because if anything, they're even more emboldened by a Trump base that is more and more, supporting and more comfortable with violence than voting. And that's what we're up against right now.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what's interesting is that Republicans have shown that when they do want to rebuke and police their own, they can. They've come down like a ton of bricks on Lil Madison Cawthorn, not for his insurrectionism, not for, sort of fetishizing Hitler's bunker, not for the bringing the gun into the Capitol, not for any of the stuff that most people are aghast by. No, because he said the porn thing. And once he said that, it does seem like a world of hurt. He's like getting leaked. The leaks are not coming from Democrats. They're leaking everything they can find on this guy. And even one of the senators from his home state is out savaging him.
That's right, Joy. You can lead an insurrection. You can say that the Catholic Church is run by Satanists. You can sympathize with gun laws that, embolden mass shooters. But the second you talk about the party's cocaine and orgies, you're done. You're toast. I mean, that's really where they are right now. This is a party that is tougher on Mickey Mouse than they are on Russia, harsher on Dr. Seuss than they are on insurrectionists. And of course, they have gone after Liz Cheney, who has, shown consistent integrity through and through, more tough than they have on Paul Gosar, who has threatened, through images and videos, to kill Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Joe Biden.
Nightmare with me for just a moment, because you've had Kevin McCarthy, who essentially, he's not responding. He said, well, Trump had no reaction. He's basically saying Trump excused me for saying all the truth that I really believe. There's billboards running in his home state, basically calling him a liar. If he becomes speaker he is a wholly owned property of Donald Trump, just like J.D. Vance would be, even though J.D. Vance used to say that Donald Trump might be Hitler. They're all Trump's property at this point if they get into leadership, right? And so my question is, what then becomes of the House of Representatives?
Right, Donald Trump is Speaker of the House if Kevin McCarthy were to win. And I want you to know we have no intention of losing the midterms. We have delivered, they have divided. But Kevin McCarthy, we would all be better off if his affair with integrity had lasted longer than a week. But he's gotten back together with the old big lie. And the party of the big lie is led by the biggest liar in Kevin McCarthy. And so there will be no backstop. There'll be no insurance policy. There'll be no guarantee that when the next coup or insurrection is planned, that the leader of the party, the Speaker of the House, would clamp down and prevent it from happening. In fact, he would just step aside and allow whatever Donald Trump preferred to take place.
Well, I mean, Michael Ludwig, who is a very conservative legal scholar and former judge, has said that openly. He did a CNN.com piece, which he said, and he laid out all the different ways in which they are 100% planning to steal the 2024 election and lock in whoever it is, Trump or whoever, DeSantis, whoever they run. Let me play for you very quickly, Chairman Benny Thompson. And he was asked by our Ali Vitale here at NBC about these leaked texts. Take a look.
I think for somebody to, in leadership or any member, make a statement about his non-participation or opinions, and ultimately it's found out that that's the complete opposite, it does not bode well for members of Congress. You know, people send us here to be truthful.
As true as that is, and he's a very calm man, Benny Thompson, he's a gentleman, but do you, inside of the Democratic caucus, do you think there is sufficient alarm about the clear determination up and down the ballot among Republicans from the state level all the way to the Congress and the United States Senate to implement the coup that failed last time and make it successful next time?
Yes, Joy. The fear is that they are putting in place the building blocks to ensure that a Democrat would never win at the highest office again, and that there would never be a peaceful transition of power again, because there would never be a transition of power, because they, through anti-voting measures that they're putting in place from the candidates that they're nominating. Look at Michigan, Joy. They have an attorney general candidate who is the Republican nominee who said he will put in jail the former attorney general if she loses. That's where their mindset is. Again, violence over voting. And by the way, you know, with Kevin McCarthy as the leader, what Benny Thompson was alluding to there, he's lost the public trust. And it's up to the Republicans to nominate who they want to be their leader. If they want a 24-karat liar to be their leader, that's fine. We'll make sure the voters know about that. Kevin McCarthy is a member of the Gang of Eight. That is the most intense, deepest dive that anyone in the United States gets on our intelligence operations and national security plans and intentions. And he's proven himself to have been compromised by saying one thing and then publicly being shown to be a liar. And I don't think he should have that kind of access if he's not a trustworthy individual.